What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And today, before we get started, I just gotta let you guys know that we hit the first milestone on the channel. We hit 500 subs, a little bit over a month. It was like only a month and a few days since my first video on this channel. Just want to say I appreciate you guys a lot. I'm glad that you guys stuck with me from the beginning stages of this channel, and that's usually the hardest. And I just appreciate you guys growing alongside with me and tuning in every video when I post. It means the world. And like you guys should already know, this is only the beginning. We're going to grow even bigger, and the next milestone that I'm trying to hit is 5K in June. The way the channel is growing, I'm sure we will hit that sooner than later. However, I just want to say I appreciate you guys tuning along the journey, and if you guys are just tuning in and this is one of your first times watching my video, please feel free to smash that subscribe button. It's going to be a great time if you like SCP videos and help me reach 5K subs in June. It would be much appreciated. So yeah, I just wanted to make this short and sweet and just give appreciation where it's due, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in to every video alongside with me, man. It means the world. And today brings us to the main attraction, the main event, SCP-035, the Possessive Mask. So I'm sure this is going to be a good one because this was a recommendation, man. So I trust the family, so yo, the ball's in your court, guys. Let's see how it's going to rock. But no cap though, I think this is going to be similar to the Wendigo skull, that SCP, because Possessive Mask, Wendigo is like a possessive skull, similar traits, but it's probably going to be maybe a little bit more powerful, just assuming, because a Wendigo is a Wendigo. This could be like a demon, who knows. So we're going to go deep. And my first impressions of seeing this SCP, it reminded me of the mask in JoJo Bizarre Adventure, the one that Dio had, like the vampire one that turned into a vampire. Yo, if it's anything along the lines of that level, this is going to be a juicy SCP video. So with that all out the way, if you enjoy my reactions, if you enjoy SCP videos and you want to see more, please remember to smash that like button if you enjoy the reaction. And also smash the sub button as well, help me along the journey and level up a little bit more. So much appreciated. I hope you guys enjoy this reaction. And remember, shout out to TheRubber for bringing this animation to fruition. Link in the description below. So with that being said, without any further ado, let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-035, Possessive Mask. Let's go, guys.
After several attempts to escape, the walls of SCP-035's containment cell have suddenly begun secreting a black substance mixed with human blood. Personnel working near SCP-035's containment unit have suffered catastrophic morale damage, with an all-time high in suicide rates in staff in that area.
That's a new one.
Hello, everybody. I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation Keter Class
Hey, Rubber.
SCP-035. SCP-035, also known as the Possessive Mask, appears to be a white porcelain comedy mask, but at times it will change to tragedy.
Ooh.
When it changes, all existing visual records, such as photographs, video footage, even illustrations of SCP-035, will automatically change to reflect its new appearance.
Wow.
A highly corrosive and degenerative vicious liquid constantly seeps from the eye and mouth holes of SCP-035. Anything coming into contact with the liquid will slowly decay over a period of time,
like
depending
acid?
on the material, until it has decayed completely into a pool of the original contaminant. Glass seems to react the slowest to the effects of the item.
But how fast is it to normal items that are not glass? But this is like over time though, so...
Into a pool of the original contaminant. Glass seems to react the slowest to the effects of the item. Hence, the Foundation uses glass to contain 035. The origin of the liquid is still unknown. It's only visible from the front and does not emerge or is even visible from the other side of the mask.
Oh.
An individual will experience a strong urge to put on 035 when making eye contact. Or is within 1.5 to 2 meters from it.
Let's see him put it on.
When 035 is placed on the face of an individual, an alternate brainwave pattern from 035 will overlap that of the original host, effectively snuffing it out and causing brain death to the victim.
Oh! Victim
then claims to...
Yo, just like that? Yo, that was way too quick. Boom, you're dead already. And it just takes over? Holy shit. Let me see this again.
That of the original host, effectively snuffing it out and causing brain death to the victim.
A vegetable
claims to be the consciousness contained within SCP-035.
Yo.
The bodies of possessed victims will decay at a highly accelerated rate. eventually becoming little more than mummified corpses.
Oh my god.
SCP-035 has been found to be able to possess anything that has a humanoid shape. Nevertheless, 035 has demonstrated the ability to remain in cognitive control of a body experiencing severe structural damage, even if the subject's body literally decays to the point where motion is not mechanically possible.
Okay. What if they use this mask on an SCP? Like an immortal SCP or SCP that's not supposed to die or whatever, you know? Would they actually die? Like, would their brain actually die and they're just like, you know, a zombie because they're immortal, like their body's immortal, but their brain's toast? Like, I know it's only humanoid shapes, but what if, God, imagine if, I guess, the indestructible creature had like a humanoid shape and the mascot on that. What will happen? Would you guys what would you think will happen? I know it can't because he's not a human or a humanoid shape, but still, like, that's something cool to think about.
But when placed on an animal's face, no such effect was found. SCP-035 was first found in a
Maybe that
sealed
just
crypt
answered
in
my
an
question.
abandoned subject's body literally decays to the point where motion is not mechanically possible. But when placed on an animal's face, no such effect was found.
Because it's not a human. So yeah.
SCP-035 was first found in a sealed crypt in an abandoned house in Venice in the 19th century.
In Venice.
SCP Foundation found that communicating with SCP-035 is very much informative. Researchers have learned various details about other SCP objects and history in general.
Oh, wow.
035 claims to have been at many momentous events. 035 displays a highly intelligent and charismatic personality.
They're literally all intelligent. Like, most of these SCPs are like super intelligent. I feel like this is just a normal trait with them.
5 displays a highly intelligent and charismatic personality, being both amiable and flattering to all those who speak with it.
Wow.
However, psychological analysis has discovered 035 to possess a highly manipulative nature, capable of forcing sudden and profound changes to interviewers' psychological state.
Damn.
SCP-035 has proven to be highly sadistic, prompting some to commit suicide, and transforming others into near-mindless servants with linguistic persuasion alone. SCP-035 has stated that it has intimate knowledge of the workings of the human mind, and implied that it could change anyone's views if given enough time.
Damn.
It has been determined that SCP-035 is capable of telepathy, whether or not it possesses a host.
What?
It will penetrate to the subconscious of the victim, and using the knowledge it finds to its advantage. Extreme caution is advised when choosing subjects to converse with SCP-035.
That's why he's manipulative. I feel like that's why he's so good at it, because he knows what things to, you know, talk about to make the other person feel good, to make him do something that, you know, they would not if they didn't hear certain things from him. It's making sense now.
SCP-035 has expressed its interest in other SCPs, most notably SCP-4715
Whoa.
and SCP-682.
Okay, I figured SCP-682, indestructible creature, but 4715, we haven't covered him yet. Or she. Yo. To my knowledge, maybe we did, but I don't know. But it doesn't look familiar. I need to cover it soon.
But a professor has expressed worry that if SCP-035 bond with either, their regenerative qualities would negate its corruption and give it a permanent host. However, 035 was...
I literally just got my answer. Hold up. Let me hear that again. Wow, I wasn't even expecting that. What the hell? Oh my goodness.
And SCP-682. But a professor has expressed worry that if SCP-035 bond with either, their regenerative qualities would negate its corruption and give it a permanent host.
Negate the corruption and give it a permanent host. Well, yeah, it will be permanent because the body is immortal. But would that mean his brain is dead? That's what I want to find out. Is his brain actually dead when he takes on the mask? I know the corrosion won't work because he's immortal, but does the mask overlap his brainwaves or whatever, like they said before? Let me know in the comment section below if you guys believe it would or not.
However, 035 was put to a few tests by the Foundation to see how dangerous and vicious it would be.
Who are you?
After 12 days of exposing SCP-151-D to 035, SCP-151-D was completely decomposed by 035.
Dang, killed
However,
SCP.
12 hours later,
well, part
this
of it.
albino human child with a furred tail began to reform from SCP-035's excrement. because personnel were barred from entering the chamber and thus could not terminate SCP-151-D before it reformed completely. In another test, a D-Class personnel wearing
Came back to life?
SCP-1131-J was assigned to SCP-035's
What SCP
containment
is
chamber.
that?
SCP-1131-J is a tinfoil hat that can block cognitohazards when wrapped around the head.
Oh,
During the test, the personnel said he felt no compulsion to don 035, and this is when 035's smile altered into a frown.
haha.
It has been concluded that SCP-035 became extremely uncooperative and pouty because it
Oh my
got
God, little
defeated
kid.
by a tinfoil hat.
Get him.
During containment, 035 has facilitated multiple escape attempts, convincing several of the research staff to aid in its bid for freedom.
You're holding it just like that?
Fortunately,
Oh my
the
God.
insurrection failed, and after reviewing SCP-035's incident record, High Command has ordered that it had to be permanently sealed within the facility
Thank
and
you.
prohibited from being allowed any more hosts.
Okay.
Several personnel have protested this, with some even erupting into
Oh my
violence.
God. The
As a
mask is
direct result,
powerful.
all personnel that have come into contact with SCP-035 have been terminated.
Yo!
Going forward, all personnel that deal with SCP-035 are to be rotated frequently.
Thank
and
you.
Contact is to be limited,
Oh my
even
God.
to its dormant state as little as possible. After several attempts to escape, the walls of SCP-035's containment cell have suddenly begun secreting a black substance mixed with human blood. This substance is corrosive, having a pH of 4.5, and prolonged exposure to the walls has proven to be detrimental to their structural integrity.
Jeez. Well, that makes
More
sense.
notably, it seems to be forming patterns on the walls. Several segments seem to be paragraphs in various languages, including Italian, Latin, Greek, and Sanskrit.
Dang.
Other segments appear to be diagrams depicting ritualistic sacrifice and mutilation. While the researchers were in the room examining these newly formed patterns, they have complained of hearing loud whispering and high-pitched, unnerving laughter at
Bro,
irregular
get that
intervals.
tinfoil hat.
Personnel in the section working daily near and around SCP-035's containment unit have suffered catastrophic morale damage.
Bro, okay. One, like, I know I'm assuming there's only one tinfoil hat. But why won't they try to, like, study it or, I don't know, let the people that are coming in close proximity with this SCP to wear the tinfoil hat so they won't have any more morale damage? Like, wouldn't that make sense? Or am I just crazy? Like, wouldn't that be a lot easier, even if it's one person? Or they could just limit the amount of people that could be in contact. If you have to clean next to them, you know, you use a tinfoil hat, you check it out, the next person does tests, put it on, so they won't fall victim to this mask. Or just do studies on the mask and try to, like, you know, take samples of it to inject it in people. I don't know. I feel like they could do a lot, but they're not doing as much as they should.
An all-time high in suicide rates in staff in that area, whether or not they have ever had contact with SCP-035. The only change in SCP-035's dormant behavior is its glass case containment. Degradation of the case has increased to a high degree,
Damn.
enough so that the glass will occasionally shatter,
Well, over time it
causing
should.
a wide dispersal of SCP-035's containment. This will occur quite often at the most inopportune times,
Dang.
so far resulting in 6 casualties and 3 fatalities of the Foundation
Oh my
staff.
God.
In light of the mass suicide, homicide, and morale damage of the members in SCP-035 containment area, and general loss of staff dealing with SCP-035 to either death or insanity,
Use the
it has been
tinfoil
decided
hat.
to coat the inner and outer walls of its containment cell with SCP-148, which is the
What's that?
ability to block or hinder extrasensory mind-affecting properties of living organisms in
Well-
proximity to it.
Well, there you go.
The use of SCP-148 has worked well, causing morale and suicide rates to return to near pre-SCP-035 rates.
Awesome.
However, the material appears to facilitate the negativity within the cell, causing a veritable greenhouse effect inside. Personnel inside the cell have stated that they feel a heavy sense of dread, fear, anger, and general depression.
Why would you go inside? Like, what's your angle for even going inside? Seems like at this point you guys know enough knowledge of the mask. Why don't you just leave it be? And one, if this wasn't working, what if you just submerge it underwater? What will happen if you just submerge it underwater? Like, how could it decay water? I'm just saying, bro. Like, I feel like there's so many things they could do to make it a lot easier for them. But it's an animation. They probably did this in the wiki store. Who knows?
As well as hearing constant, nearly inaudible whispering upon immediate entry. A prolonged stay causes severe migraines, suicidal tendencies, heavy hemorrhaging of blood vessels around the eyes and inside the mouth and nose, general hostility to others. The whispering will increase to almost deafening volume, intersected by a constant mocking laughter.
Oh boy.
Exposure of more than 3 hours will inevitably result in the subject falling into a deep psychosis and attempting to harm either themselves or others.
All this could be
Most of them
prevented.
begin to speak in Latin or Greek,
What the
despite
hell?
the fact that several did not previously know how to speak said languages beforehand. The presence of blood in both word and diagram formations around 035's containment has increased disproportionately, the walls becoming cluttered and the formations beginning to overlap each other. The substance has proven to be both difficult to clean and even more corrosive than was originally recorded.
Is the mask actually writing this with his mind or something? Like, who's doing that? What?
General estimation gives the current walls a life of 2 months before they will need replacement. It is becoming gradually more and more difficult to contain SCP-035.
Jeez.
The walls, ceiling, and floor of SCP-035's containment cell have now been completely saturated in blood. Constant cleaning efforts are being instated.
Put underwater.
According to the latest addendum, the magnitude, intensity, and reoccurrence of the phenomena that occur within SCP-035's containment cell have increased to an alarming degree. The cell door has been known to become locked of its own accord while personnel are inside, and unable to be opened for a long time. Appendages form out of the larger puddles of blood and often attempt to grab or harm personnel near them.
Bro, this is crazy.
Apparitions have started appearing to staff. Electronic devices no longer work inside the cell.
I want to know, like, what's behind this mask? Like, is there actually a demon or something that's, you know, taken over this, like, has possession over the mask? Or, you know, like, something, like, is it... I want to know if there's any, like, spirit behind this. Or is it just, you know, just the mask itself? That'd be cool if it had, like, some origin story with it. But this is pretty deadly.
And the light cannot be turned on, forcing those entering to use non-electric based light sources. Cleaning measures are having no discernible effect on the cell, and the walls are degrading at a very high rate, forcing them to be replaced within a week at best, although the blood makes it nearly impossible to properly achieve this. Foundation was forced to move 035 to a new cell entirely, with the old one sealed off and disengaged from the rest of the facility.
Makes sense.
Before we end this video...
Okay, so this was a good one, but there's just so many things that I feel like they could just easily prevent all the casualties. Like, one, whatever room that this dude's in, limit the people that are going in this room and let them use a tin hat when they're actually in proximity of this SCP. They showed proof that he goes to a frown face, like a frowny face, not smiling, and he's pouting, like, because he lost, he got defeated by a tinfoil hat. Like, it already told you, like, that's how you could defeat it. So I don't know. And what will happen if what happened if you put the tinfoil hat on the mask? I wonder if that will stop him at all. I don't know, or stop his powers. But either way, that's just diving too deep. Just easily just put on a SCP agent, or just put it underwater or something. Like, have like a facility underwater. How could it decay water? The worst case scenario, it might turn it to blood, but like a whole pool of water, like, come on. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I did like this concept of this SCP. It was really interesting, and it made me have a lot of questions, which is always fun to have, because it's not fun when, you know, it's so self-explanatory. So with all out of the way, if you guys did enjoy this reaction, please remember to smash that like button. It means the world and takes less than a second. And also smash the sub button if you made it to the end. Especially if you made it to the end. Like, guys, if you made it to this point and that button is still red, I don't know what you're doing, man. Why are you playing with me? Smash the sub button, join the family, quit playing with the kid. And also remember, turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload. YouTube doesn't always notify you guys when I drop heat, so, you know, it's the best way to stay plugged. So with that being said, unfortunately, the show has concluded. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one. With